Hey guys, day two on watercolor book, watercolor packet. So yesterday we covered the changing the value and doing some mixing with change of value. Hey, the color wheel, we've got 6 of the 12 colors that we can pull right out of our paint packets. And so this is the third page for today. Remember, you should have a piece of scrap paper, some paper towel, clean water, and a clean brush. Today we're going to use some salt. We're going to use a sponge and some paper towel to create some texture. Using some colors that we're going to talk about today are nice from a composition standpoint. So we're going to talk about adjacent colors, which are colors that are on each side of a color on the color wheel. So each color has 2 adjacent colors, and I just want you to paint 2 of them. If you're having trouble with mixing, I would go ahead and do as many of these colors that have to be mixed as you can, just from a practice standpoint. So like red-green, the adjacent colors are red and, red-orange would be red, and orange would be the adjacent color. So I'm going to make the adjacent colors for green, which is going to be blue-green and yellow-green. And we're going to try to mix these right here on the sheet. So we're not mixing any colors. Good idea is to wipe your brush off and then clean to keep your palette as clean and your water as clean as possible. And you want to do this pretty quick, because if you let it sit too long, the color is going to soak into the paper, and then it's going to make it kind of hard to do this. So that would be acceptable mixture right there for a blue-green. And it's going to take a little more yellow to get that green to lighten up, tint up. And that's all you need to do on that one. Okay? So that could be any colors that you want. Down here on the split composite colors, colors that are nearly opposite of each other, and each color has 2 splits. So again, it shows red, blue-green, and yellow-green. I just did those 2, so I'll do another one here. So we will do violet, and then the split of the violet would be yellow, orange, and yellow, green. Okay, so we'll start with our violet. Remember, we want these colors to be transparent, so don't put too much pigment down. And we'll be doing another yellow-green like we did in the last one. And make sure you get some clean water. Go back into that yellow. The yellow is really easy to make dirty. And it's a nice yellow-green. Clean in your brush. And we're going to do a yellow. Let's start with that. And I'm going to add some orange on top of it. Yellow, orange. I got a little too much water, so I'm going to use my paper towel, get rid of a little bit. And there's a split complement. Stratacolor, that's our one on the bottom here. It's, any 3 colors that are equal distance apart on the color wheel. The nice thing from a composition standpoint is using these 3 colors together is a nice use of color. And it can be any of these 4, so it'd be red, yellow, blue, orange, green, violet, violet, red, yellow, orange, blue, green, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Right, just because I've got you watching, and we're going to get through this pretty quick. I'm going to use straight colors on this last one. Red. Notice I almost all the time wipe my brush off before I go back into the water. That way I keep my water a lot cleaner. Okay, so we're going to go red, yellow, and blue. So there's the first sheet that we're done with today's painting, and we're going to do a couple of more. Next, we are going to work on a bleeding rainbow. So with the bleeding rainbow, the nice thing with this is you're going to paint all 12 colors, but you're going to just use red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. And you're going to paint this pretty fast, and you're going to want to paint this with quite a bit of moisture on your brush, because you're going to let the paint itself blend as it's wet to give you your rainbow color. And again, this is really important to keep cleaning your brush as you go. And you're going to note that when I overlap the orange and the red here, you're going to see it blend, and you're going to get that rainbow effect. Next color is yellow. What I haven't tried to mix any of it yet. Now I'm going to take some, working it into that orange to give us that yellow orange. Green next. Got some yellow green to plain green. Green blue to blue. Give myself a little extra straight blue so I can bring the violet in. And then we have some blue violet to straight violet. So that would be a successful bleeding rainbow. Okay. Next page we're going to paint today is the dry brush textures. So the reason why they call this dry brush textures is because you're going to use dry components to make texture with your paint. You can use any color you'd like here. It's totally up to you. You want to use a pretty wet and quite a bit of pigment for this. And the first one, we're going to use a paper towel to do this. So you want to take a paper towel and you want to lightly crumple it up so you have some creases, and then just lightly dab on your piece. Okay? Do not take and smudge and smudge and smudge and smudge, because you'll end up with just nothing but just a flat bit of paint. This way you can actually see some of your textures. I'm going to do the sponge next, because sometimes the salt moves all over your page. Textures are nice when you're doing different things like flowers, like we're going to do. So again, sponge is just nice, easy. Pull some paint off. This sometimes will give you some good results. Sometimes, not the greatest. Just depends on the sponge and um, how its crevices and whatnot are there. Right, the next one we are going to do now is our salt. Flood the page. And we'll come back and sprinkle a little salt on it. And then after that dries, that'll give you kind of a neat looking finish. Here's one that I did earlier. You can see that the salt pulled some of that color in and made it real dark and made some white spots where it like took it off the paper. Here's our sponge look, and then of course our paper towel is the one on top. So paper towel, salt, and the sponge. Okay. All right, we're gonna do one more today. When you're finished with that, it will be time to work on flowers. So it's another color wheel. Some of you say, well, we've already done this, and I would say yes, but the challenge for today is all of your blending is going to be on your paper. So start with a solid first, which would be your yellow. That's the cleanest, less likely to get your paper dirty. And put some wet yellow on the next, and a little bit of green. I think I might have gotten too much green, so I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush again, get a little more yellow, and like I said, mix right here on the paper. A little water on top of it to give you that watercolor look you're looking for. Straight green. Mixing that green with a little blue for our blue-green. Nice sheen from the water. Blue. I'll try to go a little lighter this time and just use a little bit of violet to give us our blue-violet. Every color I'm cleaning, then I'm re-washing. Slopped all over, which happens. Put some violet down. Make sure that you are getting a really clean brush before you go back now into some of these warmer colors. That red will mix nicely. With the violet. Straight red. Some red down. Come in with my orange. Red orange. Straight orange, a little bit of orange down for our yellow. And I'm going to finish with a little orange yellow. So there you go. So let's keep practice blending. And then next class, we will start doing some flower practice, and then we will be picking the color or the flower that you want to paint yourself. So let me know if you have any questions.